Hello everyone and welcome to our Hazmat test review for 2025. In this video, we'll walk through each question and briefly explain the answer. Whether you're preparing for an exam or just brushing up on safety protocols, this guide is here to help. Let's dive right in. Let's start with the first question. What should you avoid doing if your vehicle is leaking a hazardous substance? You should avoid driving the vehicle as little as necessary for safety reasons. This minimizes the risk of further spreading the hazardous material. Next up, if a hazardous material is labeled as prohibited in the hazard class column of the hazardous materials table, what should be done? The answer is clear. The material must never be transported. This ensures that the dangerous material isn't moved at all. Now consider, when refueling a vehicle carrying hazardous materials, where should a person be positioned? The proper position is at the nozzle to control fuel flow. This allows for immediate action if something goes wrong. Moving on. When transporting 2,000 pounds of phosphoric acid, what is the minimum required distance to park from the main road, unless briefly stopping for operations? You need to park at 300 feet. This distance helps reduce risks in case of a spill or accident. Next we have, what should be listed first on a shipping document for hazardous materials? It should state the official shipping name of the hazardous material. This is essential for proper identification and handling. Consider this, in which hazardous material classification does gasoline belong? Gasoline falls under Class 3, flammable liquids, due to its high combustibility. Now this one, if nitric acid is being stored, what is the maximum stacking height recommended during loading? It is recommended to stack it no higher than 2 feet. This keeps the load stable and safe. Here's another. Where must shipping papers be placed inside a vehicle carrying hazardous cargo for easy access? They should be placed on the dashboard, visible through the windshield, so that emergency responders can quickly access them. Next question. What type of pressure is used when activating parking or emergency brakes? The system uses spring pressure. This ensures the brakes engage reliably as a safety measure. And then, when a driver is transporting Class A explosives, where is parking permitted? The rule is strict. Parking is prohibited. This prevents any accidental hazards associated with explosives. Moving forward, what should be included in the written instructions for transporting Class A and B explosives? The instructions must cover handling procedures and emergency contact details, ensuring safe transport and rapid response if needed. Here's one about safety measures. The transport index of a radioactive material indicates what? It indicates the level of safety precautions needed during transportation, guiding the necessary handling methods. Next, what must be done when loading flammable liquids into a closed cargo space? You must ensure the liquid is in fire and water-resistant packaging with a similar tarp covering. This precaution helps prevent leaks and fire hazards. Now consider, how far should a vehicle transporting hazardous materials be parked from an open flame? It should be parked at a minimum of 300 feet away, which reduces the risk of ignition. Then we have, what information does the hazardous materials tables column 6 provide? It provides hazard warning labels required for the shipment, which are key for identifying risks. Next up, who is responsible for determining a product's hazard class and packing group? That responsibility lies with the shipper, who must ensure proper classification and packaging. Let's look at this one. What should a driver do upon encountering a hazardous material leak? The driver should evacuate the area and notify authorities to protect everyone involved. Another important question. How many placards are typically required on a vehicle carrying hazardous materials? You need 4, one on each side, front and rear, to clearly display the hazard. Consider this classification question. Under which hazardous materials classification does battery acid fall? Battery acid is classified as Class 8 corrosive materials due to its corrosive nature. Okay, what is the primary purpose of the shipping paper for hazardous materials? Its purpose is to communicate the material's hazard class and handling details, ensuring everyone knows how to manage the risk. When the driver is not behind the wheel, where should shipping and emergency response papers be kept? You'll want to keep them in the driver's door pouch or on the driver's seat. This ensures the papers are easy to grab, and in clear view when you need them most. What are the dimensions of a hazardous materials placard? The correct size is 12 inches by 12 inches. This is the standard measurement, ensuring the placard is visible and easily recognized. Out of the 3 available lists used by drivers, shippers, and carriers to determine whether a substance is regulated, which one is included? The list you're looking for is the List of Hazardous Substances and Reportable Quantities. This list helps identify substances that need to be handled with extra care due to their hazardous nature. Is it correct that a written route plan is required when transporting Division 1? 1. Explosives? Yes, it's true. A written route plan is mandatory for safety, ensuring explosives are transported along the safest path. Identify the correct hazardous material class or division for white phosphorus. White phosphorus falls under Class 4 flammable solids. This classification is due to its extreme reactivity and potential to ignite when exposed to air. An AW on the hazardous material table means it indicates that the material is only restricted when shipped by air and/or water. This tells you that specific transport modes have unique restrictions for certain materials. What does it signify if the word forbidden appears in the hazardous materials class column? If you see forbidden, it means the material is prohibited for transportation under any circumstances. This indicates the substance is too dangerous to be transported at all. What is the appropriate approach for handling railroad crossings if your vehicle is placarded? You should slow down and proceed with caution without stopping. This helps reduce the risk of accidents while keeping you alert as you approach the tracks. What is true about a portable tank? A portable tank can be removed from a vehicle. This makes it versatile and easier to transport liquids or gases safely when removed from the vehicle. Federal regulations require that hazardous material employers train their employees at least once every. The correct answer is 3 years. What kind of tank is used to carry liquids and gases, including its appearances, reinforcements, fittings, and closures? This is referring to a cargo tank. Cargo tanks are designed specifically to transport liquids and gases safely, with reinforced structures for added security. What action is required when the shipping papers contain the phrase inhalation hazard? In this case, you must use poison placards along with any other required placards. This ensures others are aware of the immediate danger posed by inhalation hazards. Which signals can be employed to alert others of a stationary vehicle carrying flammable liquid? To warn others, you'll need to honk the horn and flash hazard lights. This is a standard method for signaling that a vehicle presents a flammable risk. Which type of hazardous materials should not be loaded in the same vehicle with animal and foodstuffs? The correct answer is poisons. Poisons should never be transported with food or animals to avoid contamination and serious health risks. Is it accurate that you should slightly move the explosives to stabilize the load before separating 2 vehicles carrying explosives that have been in a collision? Actually, this is false. You should never move explosives in this situation, as it could lead to accidental detonation. When the vehicle is loaded with a flammable liquid, how many feet away from the vehicle are you allowed to smoke? You must stay at least 100 feet away. This distance reduces the risk of an ignition from an open flame or cigarette. The blank placard is a white triangle with a fish and an X through the fish. This is the marine pollutant placard. It's used to indicate that the material is harmful to the aquatic environment, so extra care is needed when transporting it. Is it accurate that you should halt and inspect your tires at intervals of every 2 hours or 100 miles? This is true. Regular tire checks help ensure the safety of your vehicle and reduce the chance of tire-related accidents. What is not a professional driver's responsibility at the scene of an accident? One responsibility that does not fall on you is to communicate with any media at the scene. Your job is to focus on safety and assist emergency responders, not engage with the press. Identification numbers used to identify hazardous materials have how many digits? The correct answer here is 4. Hazardous materials are identified by a 4-digit number, which is part of the system to keep everything organized and easily identifiable. When transporting compressed gas cylinders, they must The right answer is all of the above. Gas cylinders need to be held upright or braced, laid flat, placed in racks attached to the vehicle, and secured in boxes that prevent them from turning over. This is all about keeping them safe during transport. How many sides of a vehicle that carries hazardous materials must display placards? The answer is 4. Placards need to be displayed on all 4 sides of the vehicle to make sure the material is clearly marked from every angle. Is it accurate that the labels found on packages containing hazardous materials are diamond-shaped? That's true. Hazardous material labels are diamond-shaped, a universal shape that makes them easily recognizable. While conducting an en-route inspection, what action should you take if you find an overheated tire? If you find an overheated tire, you should remove the tire and place it far away from the vehicle. This prevents any risk of fire or further issues, as the heat could lead to a dangerous situation. What is required when dealing with packages of explosives? The correct answer is use proper handling and safety measures. Handling explosives requires extra caution, and proper safety measures must be followed at all times to ensure safe transport. Where can regulated products be found listed? The right answer is in both the hazardous materials table and the regulated products table. These 2 tables provide a clear list of materials that are regulated for transport. When inhalation hazard appears on the shipping papers, what placards are required? You'll need poison gas placards. This is a warning that the material is a toxic gas, requiring special precautions during transport. How many sides of a vehicle carrying hazardous materials must display placards? This time, the correct answer is 4. Like before, placards must be visible on all 4 sides of the vehicle for safety and identification. In order to pass the test for hazardous material endorsement on a CDL, you must know. The answer is all of the above. You'll need to know how to identify hazardous materials, how to safely load shipments, and how to properly placard your vehicle according to the rules. Where are placards required to be displayed on a placarded vehicle? Placards should be displayed on the front, rear, and both sides of the vehicle. This ensures visibility and proper identification from any direction. When does a symbol blank indicate that materials may not be loaded, transported, or stored together in the same vehicle or staging facility? This symbol is indicated with an X. The X tells you that the materials are incompatible and must be kept separate for safety. What is the maximum allowable total transport index, TI, of all packages in a single vehicle when transporting radioactive material? The maximum allowable is 10.0. This number represents the limit of radioactivity allowed for safe transport in a vehicle. Regarding the refusal of shipment for leaking packages, who holds the responsibility for this action? The responsibility falls on the carrier company receiving the shipment. The carrier must refuse the shipment if any hazardous materials are leaking to prevent accidents. Is it accurate that a shipment of hazardous materials is solely described by hazardous materials transportation papers? That's false. While transportation papers are important, other documents and measures also play a role in ensuring the safe transport of hazardous materials. What is the maximum permissible total transport index for all packages in a single vehicle? The answer is 50. For safe transport of radioactive materials, the total transport index cannot exceed 50. What does it indicate when an entry on a shipping paper is bold, highlighted, or printed in another color? This indicates special handling instructions are required for the item. It's a clear warning that extra caution is needed during transport. If a vehicle transporting explosives collides with an object, when is it safe to move the object away? It's only safe to move the object once the explosives have been removed and placed at least 200 feet away. This distance ensures safety before handling the situation further. What is the primary action to take during a hazardous materials emergency? You should warn others of the danger. This immediate step helps alert everyone nearby and prevent further harm. When your vehicle contains explosives, oxidizers, or flammable materials, what is the minimum distance within which smoking is prohibited? Smoking is prohibited within 50 feet. This distance helps reduce the risk of fire or explosions when transporting dangerous materials.